next track on the album is called Tour, and this is one of the first tracks that I wrote. It's the first track that I wrote that is on this album. Excuse me. There's other tracks that I wrote that came before this, but this is pretty much the first one that I wrote that I was satisfied with, to the point where I wanted to release it and develop it and work with it. And it started off a little bit with me, and I'm actually going to be playing everything in just E, but everything is written in E flat. But I don't want to tune my guitar down right now, and I'm actually doing this on purpose because I want to practice for at least the next little bit here in a half a key up, so that it stretches my voice a little bit, so that I'm better when I actually do record it. Actually, I hurt my thumb recently, but it's not impacting my playing. So hopefully that heals up too. I have about a few more days to finish up this recording process. I've got 5 days left, which does not much time. It goes by very quickly. So I started off by just messing around with different chords, and I found this chord. I'll kind of go down to my hands so you can see it. I found a chord on that I liked. It's basically, I was just doing stuff like that, and I was messing around. And I found that, and I said, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I kind of came up with the rhythm for it, and that basically formed the basis of the song, but you can kind of hear for yourself how I originally played it. And what's interesting about this song is that I wrote this song at the same time, the lyrics for it, at least, the initial lyrics for it, at the same time as when I wrote the music itself. So this is the first recording of Tour, and it was on 2/19/2005. actually don't get that lucky much anymore, if often ever, where I end up just recording and then writing the lyrics and the music at the same time like that. And for the most part I kept pretty much all of it from that initial recording, and that was actually my first time recording music really kind of just like that, trying to do that. So it was kind of fun to have that original recording. The next one I'll play is from a later time. It's from 10/23/2005, so later that year, 8 months later. This 10/23 recording that I'm about to play comes from a time when I still didn't have my equipment. I was still recording on a little crummy little line-in microphone that actually wasn't crummy. I have to say, it sounded pretty good, and it recorded all this stuff for me, so it worked. But the quality wasn't what I was still trying to get, and so this at least is a more refined version of Tour that I had.
Knocking back and talking about the ways you know me, times you told me, yeah. And I couldn't see anything but you from up here, but my legs are walking, my foot's not talking anymore. I'll make my way over to you if I told. Sometimes I let it fade out. Not anymore. 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 I wish I could be something I'm not. Maybe something, or I forgot how to be. Oh, we'll see. Oh, yeah, we'll see. For me. I'll see you.
That is the pretty much final song structure on it, and the next version that I came up with was or the next version at least I'm going to play for you. There's a lot of versions in between, but these are kind of the significant milestones that I'm playing. Is from 7/27/2006, and this is after I've gotten my equipment. I got my equipment in December of 2005, so I had some time to play around with my equipment a little bit and kind of refine it. And the first thing, and part of my equipment, the equipment that I got a music interface. I got an EMU 1820M audio interface, which I still use, but I'm in the process of replacing because it's kind of not supported anymore. But it served me well, and it sounds great, and to go along with that, I got a keyboard. I got a Roland Phantom X8 88 key keyboard, and I got a couple microphones initially. I got a SM57, couple of SM57s, two of them, as well as, well, actually, I think that's all I got at the time, was two SM57s. And I also got a bass. That's when I got my jazz bass and my Fender Bassman bass amp as well. And for a while, I was actually recording direct microphone off my bass amp, which is cool, but it's hard to do that, especially when you have neighbors or you don't have the right microphones, which most people don't. So it ends up not being very satisfying what you can get unless you have really cool stuff and you have a really cool environment, in which case go for it because it sounds awesome. But I ended up immediately getting I think it's like a KSM 27 condenser mic. It's right here. It's my bread and butter. It is my favorite mic. I use it for everything now. I use it for vocals, for acoustic guitar. I also have a one that I use just to kind of pick up some of the other noises, because I usually do two mics at one time for when I'm recording acoustic guitar. But that is my KSM 27 was a very nice purchase. It was well worth it. If you don't have a good microphone, you're not going to be really happy. It makes a huge difference. Kind of like the same way I say that you should get a good amp, not necessarily a great instrument, because the instrument you can kind of make up for with your own skill, hopefully. But the amp is just, you're going to have a good one or a bad one. This microphone's kind of the same thing. You can try to sing better, but if you have a bad microphone, it's going to be really tough. You're going to sound not so great. Which is why really good studios have really good microphones. That's kind of what is one of the big things, is they have really, really classic, great microphones that are really expensive. So I got my microphone, I got all my equipment, and I put together this, which is the next version of Tour. And it is more refined. One of the things I did was I wanted to add more instrumentation. So I knew I needed bass, so I came up with a bass line for it. It actually ends up driving the song. It's interesting. I came up with the bass line after I wrote the song. But the bass line is this boom 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 boom, and it ends up kind of driving it, especially for the chorus. Well, there is no chorus. The middle part of the song, where it goes boom 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 boom, and that is, I think, so that came after the fact. I wrote that part and I liked it, and then the other part I added was the keyboard part, where I just figured out some chords that I liked and added it, because I thought the song needed to get filled up a little bit, and then the final thing I did was that I found out that there was a nice harmony, magically, not by planning or anything, that was kind of available over on top of the melody that I was singing. And I think, as I mentioned before, I like harmonization because I don't have what I would consider a golden voice, so it's nice to be able to layer things, make them sound a little bit better. So I ended up with this track right here.
see.
There's a lot to that I really liked. I liked that for the first time I had to mix the song for the first time. I never had to mix anything before this. And I was always really interested and excited in doing that and discovering kind of how that could affect the production process and how you could kind of affect the way people heard things. And so this was the first time I'd had to do that. I put the acoustic guitar on the left. I put the bass kind of, I think, in the center, and I definitely put the hi-hat on the right. So you kind of had this hi-hat coming in to keep the rhythm going, and you had this acoustic guitar on the left-hand side that was driving the song with the rhythm going as well. So there's the two rhythm components on the left, as well as the bass line, which is another rhythm component, kind of centered, and then the vocals are kind of layered in between around that on the left and the right-hand side, both harmonies, the melody and the harmony, one on the left, one on the right. Maybe at that time, I think, actually, I'm not sure if I had one on the left, one on the right. That's how it ends up being. And then I did the keys just where they're placed in the keyboard. I just left that. I didn't really mess around with that. It's centered, if you will. And so that was the first time I had to mix the track, which made a huge difference in the way it sounded. It helped space stuff out a little bit. It helped stuff sound good. Overall, I was happy with that. This was the first time I'd actually done a song that I could share with people, and I felt like this was pretty good. But inevitably, I played it on different types of equipment, or I'd go to someone's place and play it, and it would just sound awful. And I quickly realized that just the overall quality of the recording was not really where it needed to be, and that I would have to do some other stuff to make it get to where I wanted it to be. But for the most part, I really liked it. There was a couple little things that I tweaked, like at the end. I was a little off-putting, kind of the way I had the vocals initially. Some people might like it. But I ended up changing it to kind of clean it up a little bit. So this next track is the tour. I would say that I have notes for it, but my notes are done. This is one that I like. It's all finished. It just needs to go out and get mastered. Nothing's going to change on it, so here is Tour. is Tour in its. So I said it was gonna be complete state, but I should preface that with I might do some more production on it. But I think for the most part, that's gonna be how it sounds, and it'll sound well. It'll sound differently once you mastered, but I'm not gonna really change anything too much with that. And the one thing I'll note is that the drums on that were something that I did before I knew how to drum, and it was really interesting because about half the tracks on this I produced the drums for prior to fully understanding kind of the dynamics of drumming or being able to do drumming. I can't really drum consistently or good, but I mean I can drum out drum beats on an electronic drum set and play it. And I did at the time I didn't know how to do that, and so I would just sit there with my keyboard and make the noises, and I would kind of pick the drum noises based upon what I thought sounded good. And I didn't really care if that was, realistically possible, if someone could actually drum it or whatnot. And I ended up coming up with a lot of really cool, interesting drum beats that I wish I could kind of do now, but I feel like I've been corrupted in the sense that I always end up just going back and doing much more traditional stuff. So I'd like to try to get back to that. All I'll say is that if you can, mess around with drums. Don't be limited by what you can actually physically do with the drum set. If you have a keyboard, you can play drums and you can write drum beats, make up whatever you think sounds good, because those are some of the drum beats that I did that I think ended up sounding the best in retrospect. And this was one of them where I just did this all by hand. So none of Tour, the drums on it were done. It was all just done with me, my keyboard, my fingers, and they had the drum pads, but I found the drum pads to be not as responsive as the keyboard, so I ended up doing it with the keyboard. That's Tour, and that is going to be the end of this track review session. I'm going to go ahead and start up another one right after this.